Andy Chrisman of For Him has spent 40-plus years in Christian music, and chances are he knows your favorite artist personally. Now he's bringing you their stories.
I'm Andy Chrisman.
In his new podcast, 1 Degree of Andy, he sits down with the voices behind the songs for real, honest, and faith-filled conversations you won't hear anywhere else.
That's a great question.
If you love Christian music, this is your backstage pass.
The 1 Degree of Andy podcast.
Listen now to 1 Degree of Andy wherever you get your podcasts.
Each week on Culinary Confidential, Christina Cates, a seasoned foodie who has worked at some of New York City's top restaurants, will share her passion for the culinary world. Whether you're a professional chef, a restaurant enthusiast, or a lover of good food, Christina dives into the heart of hospitality, exploring the trends, triumphs, and challenges facing the food service profession. And you won't want to miss her chats with some of the most interesting and influential industry voices. And now, please take your seat at the table as Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates starts now, exclusively on AM 970, The Answer.
Welcome to Culinary Confidential. I'm your host, Christina Cates, and tonight we're turning up the heat, the flavor, and the conversation as we explore one of the most powerful culinary forces shaping the world right now, the Latin cuisine on the global stage. Because this isn't just about tacos and tequila anymore. This is about culture, economics, migration, identity, and innovation all colliding on the plate. This show is produced in association with my dear friend, Lucas A. Ferrara. Let's start with this. According to industry data, the global Latin American food market is projected to surpass $200 billion in the coming years, with Latin flavors ranking among the fastest growing cuisines in the United States. In fact, over 60% of American consumers say they regularly eat Latin-inspired foods, and nearly 1 in 4 restaurants in the U.S. now feature some sort of Latin influence on their menus. According to the recent data from the National Restaurant Association, Latin-inspired dining trends have seen double-digit growth year over year, outpacing many other international cuisines in both restaurant openings and consumer demand. Mexican cuisine in particular is the most visited international cuisine by Americans, with tacos and guacamole among the top orders in casual dining and fine dining alike. And Peruvian cuisine, with its ceviches and fusion interpretations, has grown so influential that it was named one of the top global food trends by culinary specialists and chefs in major gastronomic surveys. But this influence isn't just about restaurant menus. It's demographic, social, and cultural. In the U.S., Latinx communities now represent over 18% of the total population, making Hispanic heritage the largest ethnic minority group in the country. Within that, Mexican Americans are the largest subgroup, followed by Puerto Rican and Salvadorian communities, each contributing uniquely to the culinary landscape. Importantly, Latinx food culture isn't just consumed by Latins. Approximately 70% of Americans say they regularly choose Latin-inspired meals, showing widespread love and adoption across cultures. And it makes sense because Latin cuisine is not one thing. It's a tapestry. It's Mexican, Peruvian, Cuban, Dominican, Brazilian, Colombian, Argentine. It's indigenous traditions layered with Spanish, African, and immigrant influences that have evolved over centuries. From the spice-kissed salsas of Oaxaca to the citrus-bright tiraditos of Lima, Latin food tells a story of migration and fusion, of indigenous knowledge meeting European influence, of African heritage woven into every bite, and of communities who've preserved identity through taste. Right now, we're seeing Latin cuisine step fully into the fine dining spotlight. Restaurants like Cosme and Pujol have redefined what Mexican cuisine can be on a global level. Peruvian cuisine, once considered niche, is now one of the most celebrated culinary movements in the world, with dishes like ceviche becoming global staples. But here's where the conversation deepens. Behind this culinary boom is something much bigger: the people. The restaurant industry in the United States relies heavily on immigrant labor. Nearly 30% of all restaurant workers are immigrants, and in kitchens specifically, that number climbs even higher. In major cities like New York, Los Angeles, Miami, Latin American workers are not just part of the workforce, they are the backbone of it. So when we talk about Latin cuisine rising on the global stage, we also have to talk about immigration policy and how shifts in policy could fundamentally reshape the restaurant industry as we know it. What happens when labor shortages increase? What happens when fewer skilled cooks, prep workers, and hospitality professionals are able to enter or remain in the workforce? We're already seeing the impact. Rising labor costs, reduced hours, simplified menus, and yet at the same time, we're seeing Latin cuisine thrive, evolve, and lead. because this cuisine is resilient. It adapts, it tells stories, it carries heritage forward. So why does this matter? Why talk about food in such expansive terms? Because what we call Latin cuisine is not a monolith. It is a testament to identity and pride. When a recipe travels from abuela's kitchen into a fine dining restaurant, it's more than technique. It's lineage. When a chef chooses heirloom corn over processed substitutes, it's a statement about heritage. When Peruvian ceviche becomes a global delicacy, it's a celebration of indigenous agricultural knowledge that predates colonial systems. Food carries memory, food carries history, and tonight's Latin chefs are not just feeding people, they are shaping narratives. And tonight's guest understands that intersection of culture, hospitality, and evolution better than most. Joining us is Joe Cordero, the food and beverage director at Rosa, Agave Wine Lounge. In the heart of Tribeca, New York, nestled among the cobblestone streets and the pulse of downtown energy, Rosa is a space that doesn't just serve food and drink, but curates experiences. Joe has helped craft not merely a restaurant, but a destination where Mexican and Peruvian elements dance in harmony. From agave-forward cocktails to refined courses that honor ancestral ingredients. Joe is at the forefront of how Latin cuisine is being presented today, not just as comfort food, but as luxury, as storytelling, and experience. Tonight, we're going to gather and talk about how Latin cuisine is evolving in fine dining, the rise of agave culture beyond tequila, what diners are craving right now, and how the industry is navigating labor, policy, and cultural shifts. Because this isn't just a food story, it's a story about where we are right now and where we're going. So stay tuned, grab something to sip, and settle in. Let's journey through the mosaic of tastes that connect continents, cultures, and communities. Joe Cordero, welcome to Culinary Confidential.
Hello. Thank you, Christina. Thank you so very much for having me today.
First of all, I can tell right off the bat you're being shy. And I've talked to you on the phone enough times to know that you're not shy.
Okay, I'm not shy.
So just loosen up.
Okay, fine.
This topic is your wheelhouse. I mean,
fine.
Your last name is Cordero. What is your background? What's your ethnicity?
So I'm Puerto Rican on both sides, and my grandfather's side of the family came from Spain.
Oh, very interesting. Tell me more about this.
So when my last name is like Cordero de Dios, and apparently we've traced back to some of the Spanish noble lineage at the time. And I really found that interesting. And when the conquistadors came and, got to Puerto Rico, we'll say, my family, my ancestors came with them.
Were you born here in Puerto Rico?
I was born in Brooklyn.
Nice.
My mom is from Puerto Rico, and my dad was also born in New York, but all of my grandparents were born on the island.
I've never been there. I've never been.
What?
I just had the chef on, it was a New Year's Eve special, Chef Jason Aroni. Mm-hmm. He's opening this hotel, Dorado Beach. Is that a beach there?
Ooh, very nice.
This very nice restaurant in there. And he was like, you have to come down. And I follow him on social media. I'm like, it looks so amazing.
Okay, so, you got to go.
I know.
Okay, you have to go. You have to go there. Then you have to go, if you got a chance, go to Culebra, go to Vieques. But most importantly, go where my family's from in Aguadilla.
Ooh.
Okay, go to Crash Boat Beach. It is absolutely gorgeous. And when you get there, you'll realize it's a party on the water. Some of the most beautiful beaches you'll ever see in your life.
Okay, I'm going to do it. Thank you for the rec.
You're very, very welcome.
All right, let's start with this company, Chefscape, that you're a part of. I know you work at Rosa, mm-hmm. right? The Agave Wine Lounge here in Tribeca, which I'm going to come check out. But what is Chefscape? I wasn't completely understanding what that was.
So Chefscape is a large-scale meal production company. And essentially what we do is we have a lot of government contracts, and we provide medically tailored meals. We provide meals to shelters and
so you're doing the
schools.
Lord's work.
We're doing the work we feel is necessary to give back to the community in every capacity that we can. When staff benefits were cut, we were activated in 24 to 48 hours, and we had thousands of meals for people ready to go.
What do you do in that capacity?
So essentially what I do is I, help facilitate conversations that, can add to the business. Mostly Lorena and Chef Angel. All
right, so Lorena Rivera.
Yes,
right?
Rivera.
And Chef Angel Sanchez.
Yes.
They are the owners of Chefscape?
So Lorena is one of the owners. Rob is one of the other owners. And Chef Angel is the executive chef for
prepping all
Chef's
the
Capes.
meals.
Yeah. So he oversees that operation as well as the kitchen in Rosa, while I oversee the operations at Rosa and do,
And that sounds really amazing. And you guys are doing such a good thing for the world.
Yeah, we're also partnered with Rethink Food, which is like not-for-profit, started from one of the chefs over at 11 Madison Park.
Wow.
Big shout out to Chef Matt and Chef Daniel. We appreciate you. We love you. And let's continue rocking out, yeah?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. Latin cuisine is often grouped together, but it's incredibly diverse. How do you personally define Latin cuisine in today's global food landscape?
So what's beautiful about Latin cuisine is the microcosms that exist in the different countries in Latin America. Like you have, for instance, the Caribbean-style Latin food when it comes to like Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Cuba. Very similar in style and how we prepare food, rice, so on and so forth, right? Whereas Mexican cuisine is very traditional, ancestral. It's been going on for, thousands of years. There's great culture and history behind it, going back to the Mayans and Aztecs. And it's beautiful how they're able to utilize what the land gives them in such a fun capacity. From, the cactus, for instance, right? Being able to grill it and cook it, it's really
they
great.
make cactus tacos now.
Yeah, it's really amazing.
I've never had that either.
Oh my gosh. So there's like a bunch of places that have it, and you just Google it. And
what's it taste like, though?
It tastes like...
Is it chewy?
If they do it right, no. Right? It tastes like green.
Green?
Yeah.
Okay.
If green was a flavor.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Okay. And if they char it, it tastes like green char, which is amazing.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Well, you're not completely selling it to me, but I will give it a try.
You got to try it.
Okay.
And then you'd be like, oh, okay, this is what green tastes like. I get it.
Okay.
It's very vegetal.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
That makes sense.
But green.
Got it. Okay, we're seeing Latin flavors everywhere right now, from casual spots to Michelin-level dining. Why do you think this cuisine is having such a powerful moment?
Like Bad Bunny said, la gente falta sazón.
And what does that mean?
It means like lacking flavor. And Latin flavors are so bright and vibrant and fun and spicy and fresh that people have come to appreciate these sort of flavors and the capacity that it brings to their palate. Think of it like when all of the notes are hit at the precise moment. It's just like it's an experience. And this is not to take away from any other cuisine, which are equally amazing in their own respects. But it's great to see people appreciate the flavors that, have been passed on from generation to generation.
What's a misconception people have about the Latin cuisine that you wish would disappear?
That it is cheap, basic food.
Ooh, that's great.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, like quick service,
yeah,
food truck style, fast casual, but it's really complex.
Yeah, there's really so much more to that. And it's amazing that some of the chefs that we have in the world today are really taking it to the next level and highlighting flavors and modern techniques to really just push the boundaries of what Latin food can be.
All right, so I know I'm going to ask this question now. You're going to say Rosa, but what is your favorite Latin-inspired restaurant? It doesn't have to be in New York either.
Ooh. All right, I'm drawing a blank. You're going to have to let me come back to that.
Okay. All right.
I can tell you where I want to go that I haven't had a chance to go.
Okay, go.
Is Cosme.
Me either.
Yeah, I really would like to go to Cosme. My schedule doesn't necessarily afford me the opportunity to go out as much as I would like to. I know,
because you work in a restaurant.
Yes. But
so the hours are similar.
Yes.
I know.
So I basically have to get some time off and go because I hear it's amazing.
It's been around for a good amount of time, though, also.
Yeah.
It has some staying power in New York. I remember when it first opened, you could not get in there. And it's honestly probably still the same.
Another place I like to check out is literally right up the block. It's Cesar.
Cesar?
Yeah. Or Caesar. Cesar, Caesar.
Where is it?
It's literally up the block on Hudson. 2 Michelin stars.
Nice.
Very intimate space. Really nice.
Okay. Now, at Rosa, Agave Wine Lounge, where you work, how do you strike that balance between honoring tradition and pushing things forward?
So we really like to present on our Latin heritage and the recipes of our abuelas and our family that have been passed down from generation to generation, and use modern techniques to bring them in a really fun and interesting way, while maintaining its original identity.
Mm-hmm. What do you have on the menu there?
Oh, so one of my favorite things on the menu is our flautas de re.
Flautas?
Flautas, yes.
Flautas.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is a grass-fed brisket that's been braised in some red wine and guajillo sauce. So it's like rich in flavor, and it's also very like a textural contrast when you're eating it, because you got the crunch of the tortilla while the softness of the braised meat.
I like that.
Yeah.
That sounds very tasty.
Yes, and then we have this, guajillo mole. It sits on a bed of it with a nice little salad de lechuga on top, and some pico de gallo, salsa verde. And,
it's just the way you say it, Joe.
Yeah, it's really
That's
quite
the selling
amazing.
factor for me.
It's really quite amazing.
All right, I think we have to go to our first commercial break. So we're just getting started with Joe Cordero of Rosa, Agave Wine Lounge in Tribeca. And when we come back, we're diving into the world of agave, elevated dining, and what really makes a restaurant experience unforgettable. Stay with us. You're listening to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates on AM 970 The Answer.
Over the last 30 years, Newman Ferrara, a New York City law firm, has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation, representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants. Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 55 East 59th Street, New York City. Go online to newmanferrara.com. That's newmanferrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate, on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate.
Welcome back to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates on AM 970, The Answer.
All right, welcome back to Culinary Confidential. I want to zoom out for a second because we're talking about, something that's happening not just in restaurants, but it's happening across culture. You look at a global moment like a halftime show, and you see artists like Bad Bunny commanding that stage, bringing Latin culture front and center in a way that feels bold, modern, and completely undeniable. And food is right there alongside it. We're seeing Latin cuisine move in that same direction, more visible, more elevated, more celebrated than ever before. From neighborhood spots to high-end dining rooms, it is the conversation. And that's what makes a place like Rosa, Agave Wine Lounge so interesting. Because it's not just about what's on the plate, it's about the full experience and the energy. So, Joe, let's get into that, because what you're doing at Rosa feels much like that same movement, where culture, hospitality, and experience all come together in one space. Welcome back to the show, by the way.
Thank you for having me again.
Well,
really
you're going to be
appreciate
here
it.
for the next, 30 minutes or so.
Let's go.
Okay. First of all, did you watch the halftime show?
I did.
What did you think of the controversy of the all Spanish-speaking show? Some people were all about it, and some people were like, I liked it, but I didn't know what he was saying.
Well, the beautiful thing about Latin music is even if you don't understand what they're saying, it's something that you can feel.
Oh, I agree with that, because
Yeah.
I am one of those people where I was like, I don't know what he said, but I was moving and grooving a little bit.
Yeah, and I think music is one of the beautiful things that connects us.
Yes.
And it's universal, and it's cross-cultural, and I enjoy music from every part of the globe. Because with it, you can feel its history, you can feel the energy of the people, and you can feel the passion that comes with it. And I think it's a beautiful beautiful thing.
And even with those dueling halftime shows, it still was one of the most highly rated shows, right? Ever in history. Pagano, you're like a sports guy.
Yeah, and if I'm correct, it was actually the most viewed.
The most,
show.
right?
Even with the competing show, which, I mean, granted, I believe that only brought in about little over 20 million views as of the time this episode's getting released, but still, that's small potatoes compared to the hundreds of millions that Bad Bunny alone was able to bring in, and to really be able to showcase this on such a big stage. I mean, there's not enough words to really describe just how huge that is, not just for Latinx culture, but really for football fans, and especially the NFL looking to break into new markets.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And Spanish is the second most spoken language in the world, as well as the second most spoken language here in the United States. And if you think about the people in Europe and how many languages they speak, I think everyone can benefit from learning a new language and the beautiful things that it brings to their overall sense of being in their brain and how it functions.
I've tried to learn Spanish a ton of times. I can't fully get the language down pat, but when I worked in restaurants, my kitchen Spanglish was pretty darn good.
Oído.
Okay. But I'm a little rusty now.
Caliente.
All right, you know what we should talk about? Rosa was just on that new list for the spring.
Yes, we were. So we were listed as one of the best date spots for spring in New York City by Purist magazine.
Wow, that's an accomplishment.
Yes,
because it's hard to
indeed.
operate a restaurant in Tribeca. I've done it before.
Yeah, it is quite interesting, but, we believe that the way we do things is bringing about something special. Our guests have given us amazing feedback, and we're really appreciative of everyone that continues to support us, our amazing team, and the support system that exists within the company. So we really look forward to what's to come and to do things in an amazing way.
All right, but are you getting a lot of locals?
Yes.
A lot of Tribeca locals, and they have the moolah, lots of money. It's an expensive part of town to live.
It is indeed, and I feel like we've curated a selection that complements the best that Latin America has to offer and discerning palates. So for people who appreciate nice things, we have a little something for you.
Is it a big place?
It's an intimate space.
Oh, I like that even more.
Yeah, but we have the capacity to support a decent amount of people, and while maintaining the care and hospitality we aim to deliver.
Okay, so I guess we should talk agave now, because that's your personal specialty, but it's also what Rosa's known for. I mean, it's in the name.
Yes.
Because let's talk agave. It's more than tequila. It's agriculture. It's geography. It's patience. Tell me about this expansive agave list you have.
So we have this ever-growing agave list that encompasses not just tequila and mezcal, but previously banned agaves from Mexico.
Wait, why would they be banned in Mexico but allowed here?
Well, they were banned prior to be made just completely prior to 1994 for Sotol and 2001 for Raicilla. And these are spirits that have been made for generations and generations. And, Prohibition era politics coupled with big business interests kind of kept them suppressed, while tequila and mezcal kind of took the stage. Very much like we have big tobacco in the United States, we have big brands in Mexico trying to protect their best interests.
All right, so how many offerings of agave do you have on the list?
I think we're pushing them close to 100 now, maybe more.
That's pretty substantial.
Yeah, so we have, several sotols, we have several raicillas and bacanoras, we have a couple posh, we have wild agave.
You're like saying some of these things I've never even heard of, to be honest with you.
Well, and this is the beautiful thing about agave spirits. Me, myself, with my history, I told you, I used to work literally across the street when I was in finance, and I had a great appreciation for scotch and whiskeys and some of the beautiful spirits coming out of both Europe and Japan. And what led me to appreciate agave and like mezcal specifically was the process that goes into it, very much like your favorite spirits, your single malts. You know, you have ancestral production methods, and you have wild fermentation, and you cook it in underground pits. It's very ancestral. You get some agave and you know, so those are, you know, very terroir driven, and they've been, you know, in the wild or harvested for years and years, and they take on characteristics from their environment. And it's really quite beautiful when they go to great lengths to preserve these flavors and highlight them in a cool and interesting way.
So if you have someone that comes in and says, I'll take the Patron on the rocks, what's something better that you can steer them towards to educate them on like a nicer product? And I could say that because it's not like they're a sponsor on the show.
Okay. So the first thing I would say to them is we don't carry them.
Right.
Okay.
It's not that good.
No, but
It's not.
I'm not here to speak municipally of certain brands and others, but I will say this.
I'm a Don Julio girl.
Oof! Don't even get me started.
I like it.
We can go. If you really want to talk about it, we can talk about it. All right. You should probably Google a few things. Okay.
Ooh,
yeah.
right.
And realize why you should come to Rosa Agave Wine Lounge and see that we don't even carry that.
Okay, so tell me what I would get there.
You would get things that highlight small batch distillers that are producing amazing agave spirits in traditional ways. Businesses that are family owned and operated. We have women in mezcal, women in tequila.
I love this.
Yeah, that are really doing things in amazing ways. And we feel that we needed to curate a space that highlighted all of these people that are going to great lengths to put product before profit. Right?
What a nice saying.
Yeah.
Product before profit.
Yeah, this is very important. And when you put product before profit, in a business sense, the profit will come.
That's right.
And you just have to keep doing things the right way for the right reasons, because you respect what you're doing. You appreciate, you know, its history and the I guess you can say the education you bring to people's palates, in a manner of speaking. Because when you taste something where people go to great lengths to protect and preserve its flavors, you can taste the difference and you could appreciate the difference.
Now, you know, you have all these brands, these products that are so well made. Are you making any specialty cocktails with them, or do you want them to just stand alone and shine?
Oh, no. We are making some of the most amazing cocktails with them. We have specific agave spirits for certain cocktails, which is really fun. And really brings the flavors together and highlights both the creativity that we have behind the bar, and also it gives light to the spirit and its potential.
I like this. And what do you think separates a great agave program from like just a good one?
I think first realizing the people, appreciating the people behind some of these brands and the lengths that they go to creating a good product and establishing relationships with them is of utmost importance, because I feel like it is these people that need to be represented well, and they will go to great lengths to ensure that you get what you need in order to highlight, you know, the things that they're doing.
Have any of these small distillers like invited you to Mexico?
I am slated to go to Mexico in the latter part of this year.
Where? Like the agave fields?
Yes. I'm waiting to iron out the details, but the plan is to go for Dia de los Muertos.
Ooh, that's going to be fun.
It's going to be so much fun. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. All right.
You're going to drink a lot of liquor.
I'm going to taste a lot of liquor. Okay, I'm going to appreciate it. This is R&D.
That's right.
Yes.
Keep telling yourself that, Joe.
Yes.
Okay, more with Joe Cordero on the other side of the break as we get into the future of the restaurant industry, the realities behind the scenes, and where Latin cuisine is headed next. Don't go anywhere. This is Culinary Confidential, and we'll be back after the break.
Over the last 30 years, Newman Ferrara, a New York City law firm, has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation, representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants. Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 55 East 59th Street, New York City. Go online to newmanferrara.com. That's newmanferrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate, on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate.
Welcome back to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates on AM 970. The Answer.
Welcome back to the show. I'm with Joe Cordero of Rosa, Agave Wine Lounge in Tribeca, and he's here with me tonight discussing all things Latin cuisine, especially the agave. That was great before the break. I'm thirsty now, Joe.
Oh my gosh, so if you're thirsty, you have to come get the most crushable cocktail in New York City, the Yuzu Kosho Margarita.
Yuzu what?
Kosho Margarita.
Kosho? What's kosho?
So it is fermented chili paste from Japan.
Oh, okay. That's right up my alley.
Yes. So as you are aware, I have experience in across Michelin kitchens in New York City. And Yuzu Kosho is something that I came across. It's usually paired with like fresh fish, ceviches, things of that nature. It's very complimentary to the fish. It gives a nice kick. And when creating the beverage program for Rosa, I was like, this would make an amazing spicy margarita.
Yeah, because that's honestly my signature drink. Is a skinny, spicy marg.
You have to come for the Yuzu Kosho Margarita. We pair it with this house marmalade. Okay.
Wow.
Yes. So, we're big on sustainability and utilizing ingredients that we have in the kitchen and repurposing ingredients in fun and in inventive ways, which happen to be quite flavorful, I might add. And the Yuzu Kosho Margarita is a really fun and complimentary experience.
I like that.
Where you would take a sip, followed by a little nibble of the marmalade, and then another sip to
so it's like
complete the
interactive.
experience. Very much so.
Oh, I've never done something like that before.
This is why you have to come to Rosa and Tribeca.
I will. I promise you I will. I'll go there before I go to
everybody,
Cosme.
You've heard of this, everybody. She says she's coming.
Yeah.
Okay, now she has to come.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
Let's talk a little bit about immigrant labor. It's a hot topic right now. ICE is all over the place, but the people that will suffer, restaurants, construction, these are industries that rely a lot on immigrant labor. We got to talk about this. How have you seen that shape kitchens and hospitality culture firsthand?
As you're aware, I have a lot of kitchen experience. I spent the last 7 years in kitchens, and I have met some great people from across the world. And we exist in a society today where there, a lot of people that are here trying to make a lot better life for themselves and, working besides, some amazing people. It's unfortunate that they have to endure what's happening, and businesses rely on some of this labor, and
because it's a low labor cost, right?
Yes, so people are willing to work for lower wages and do manual labor that other people aren't willing to do. Then somebody has to do it, right? If you think about it, who you think is bringing your DoorDash?
That's right.
I think we need to be more cognizant of what's happening and this cognitive dissonance that exists. We need to figure it out, right? There has to be some sort of balance that's reached, and there has to be some humanity reached as well. And it's important that we treat each other with dignity and respect, and we are treating each other to the best of our abilities.
So with ongoing conversations around immigration policy, labor shortages, and rising costs, what concerns you most about the future of the industry? Because it's not going to be sustainable if we don't have some of these people still working there. I mean, every restaurant I've ever worked at, there's been Jose in the back, Juan, like, these are my people. This is who's cooking our food. Whether you're in a Mexican restaurant or an Italian restaurant, that's who's behind the kitchen doors.
Yeah, so literally your Italian food is being cooked by Mexicans. And
Yes.
they make
And they make it really, really good.
They make better pasta than some other people that I've met. Like, I work besides them. This is in Michelin, level cooking. And like, it is what it is. But we exist in a society where people and politicians are very pro this and pro that, but what they're not is pro business, right? And at the end of the day, what it affects is the individuals that are looking for these jobs that are now being automated, that are now being sent over to fulfilled by AI. And what's left is manual labor, in a manner of speaking, until we have Android's doing it for us.
Yeah, but that's the thing about the restaurant business. Like, you can't have AI do a lot of the stuff there. Unless you're going to be like having a robot take something out of a refrigerator and put it in a microwave to heat it up. You need people on premise cooking the food, right? And if we're taking all the people out of the kitchen, who's going to be cooking? I mean, you have people that are afraid to go to work because, ICE and the government knows. Go show up at a restaurant and walk in the back door. See who's in there. See if they have identification on them. Go stop on a construction site. See if they've picked up any day laborers. These industries are on the verge of collapse because we can't afford to always pay people the minimum wage when it's $16 an hour and the profit margins of a restaurant are razor thin and non-existent.
Yeah, opening a restaurant in New York City is prohibitively expensive.
I don't recommend it.
No, it is a bold and ambitious endeavor, and it is not for the faint of heart. Mm-hmm. Not by any means. And it's unfortunate that we're in this political climate that we are in, but as New Yorkers, as Americans, we will persevere as we always do.
Okay. On a more personal note, what excites you most about where food and hospitality are heading?
The fun part about this is that it's headed in a more inclusive and global direction, where we're appreciating flavors from across the world.
Yes.
We're appreciating the culture behind it and the people and generations of people behind these recipes and techniques that have been passed on from ancestors.
I like this. Yeah. All right, what do you say we do a quick Latin-inspired rapid-fire round?
Dun, dun,
I do this every once in a while. I think it's fun. Okay, Joe. Tacos or ceviche?
It depends on my mood.
I get that. I would probably answer the same way.
Yeah, it depends on my mood. Sometimes, if it's earlier in the day, definitely ceviche.
Mm-hmm. Late night after a few too many
tacos.
Cocktails. You want tacos?
Tacos. Well, you could have tacos in the morning, tacos in the evening, tacos at supper time.
That's right.
When you're in New York City, you could have tacos anytime.
That's true.
Yes.
City that never sleeps. All right, corn or plantains? Can I answer for myself?
Go.
Plantains.
Absolutely. As a Puerto Rican, plantains are something that has, great purpose, and
they're so versatile.
Yes. So you can have tostones, you could have maduros, you can have
tostones.
Yes, you can have mofongo.
Yeah.
Or around the holidays, you can make pasteles.
What is that?
So
it's like a tamale?
Yeah, it's like a tamale in a manner of speaking, yeah. And it's wrapped in plantain leaves and boiled for forever and a day, and what you get is this beautiful savory pastry.
Oh, I like it.
That has, some meat and a lot of flavor, some olives if grandma's making it, and some chilies, so it's really quite nice.
Okay, tequila or mezcal?
Depends on my mood, because we have such an amazing selection of both. If it's tequila, definitely doing a reposado. If it's mezcal, I'm looking for something fun and interesting that I haven't tried before.
Okay, cilantro, love it or leave it?
when you come to Rosa, what you're going to get when you first walk in now is our cilantro-infused mezcal white Negroni.
Wow.
Yes. It's really quite amazing.
That's very unsuspecting.
It is. It's bright, it's herbaceous, it's light, and it'll open your palate for what's about to come when you experience Rosa.
I used to hate cilantro, and now I love it.
Okay, amazing.
Some people, when they taste it, they taste soap.
Yeah, so they have a genetic...
yes, it's a genetic thing.
Yes.
How unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. But if you're looking for something soapy because you got to wash your mouth out, because you got a potty mouth, come to Rosa, have a cilantro Negroni, you'll feel better.
Okay. One Latin dish everyone should try at least once.
Okay. I got two, all right? I have two because you have to come to Rosa for something interesting, and that's our duck mole.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It is really quite beautiful. We have this amazing duck breast and a mole poblano that complements it really ever so beautifully. And as you mentioned, we have sweet plantain that's served with it. So it's sweet, savory, spicy, and very complimentary. I think everybody should expand out of their comfort zone a little bit at least once and try tacos de lengua.
What's that?
It is cow tongue tacos.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
Okay.
Oh.
It is
cow
something,
tongue taco.
Yeah, it's something that I did not.
I'll get the duck.
Huh? I'll get the duck.
I'll get the cow tongue taco.
It's something that you would not realize is as good as it is. But as a chef, I made a promise to try new and exciting things and get out of my comfort zone.
I like that. Okay.
To appreciate the great lengths that certain cultures have when preparing the food and utilizing the entirety of the animal that gave its life for us.
All right. Well, when you say it like that, fine, I'll try the cow tongue tacos.
You should.
Okay. Last question. Salsa verde or salsa roja?
Depends. And you know this with these trick questions. Okay. When you come to Rosa, you can get both. But
I'm asking you what you like.
It depends on what you're using it for. Salsa roja tends to go with, more savory things like beef, right? And salsa verde goes with things that are a little bit lighter, like chicken and fish. So it's very contingent on what you're eating. You're not just going to put salsa roja on something.
I think that's what I do.
Oh, my God.
I think I just put it on everything. Sorry. Okay.
As long as it's not ketchup, we're friends.
I'm from New Jersey, and we put ketchup on scrambled eggs, so.
Let's get you over to sriracha.
I do like sriracha, too.
Let's go.
All right. That brings us to our ingredient of the week, which is ají amarillo, the golden chili pepper of Peru. It's not just heat, it's complexity. It delivers bright fruitiness, subtle tropical sweetness, moderate warmth, and it's a vibrant golden color that feels like sunlight on a plate. It's the backbone of a lot of important recipes like leche de tigre, Peruvian ceviche sauces, ají de gallina. Did I say that mildly okay?
You did.
Okay. Ají amarillo represents fusion, indigenous to Peru, yet adaptable. It pairs with seafood, poultry, cream sauces, and even cocktails. It's bold without overpowering, vibrant without aggression, just like Latin cuisine's influence in America. Some ways I like to use it. I like to blend it into an aioli for grilled shrimp or roasted potatoes, or whisk it into a vinaigrette for a citrus-forward salad. Add it to that cream sauce for the Peruvian-style pasta. Mix it into a compound butter and put it on top of steak or corn, or infuse it into simple syrup for a spicy margarita variation. Thank you for listening to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates, Sunday nights at 9 p.m. on AM 970 The Answer. Check out Rosa, Agave Wine Lounge, located at 203 Hudson Street in Tribeca. As we wrap up tonight's conversation, what really stays with me is this. Latin cuisine isn't just having a moment. It's telling a story of migration, of resilience, of cultures crossing borders and finding new life in new places. It's the flavors passed down through generations, the techniques carried across oceans, and the people, so many people who have built this industry quietly, passionately, and often without recognition. And as we look at the future of restaurants in America, we can't separate the food from the people behind it. Immigration policy, labor shifts, rising costs, these aren't abstract ideas. They shape what ends up on our plates. Who's cooking our food, and what traditions continue to thrive. But if tonight's conversation proves anything, it's this. Latin cuisine is not just enduring, it's leading. It's evolving into fine dining, redefining luxury, and at the same time, staying deeply rooted in culture and community. Joe, thank you for bringing your perspective, your experience, and your voice to this conversation, and for giving us a glimpse into what the future of hospitality can look like when it's done with intention. And to everyone listening, next time you sit down for a meal, take a moment to think about the story behind it, because there's always one. This is Culinary Confidential. I'm Christina Cates. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.
The preceding program is sponsored by Shake It Off Live, LLC.
Andy Chrisman of For Him has spent 40 plus years in Christian music, and chances are he knows your favorite artist personally. Now he's bringing you their stories.
I'm Andy Chrisman.
In his new podcast, 1 Degree of Andy, he sits down with the voices behind the songs for real, honest, and faith-filled conversations you won't hear anywhere else.
That's a great question.
If you love Christian music, this is your backstage pass.
The 1 Degree of Andy podcast.
Listen now to 1 Degree of Andy wherever you get your podcasts.